Welcome back, everybody. Today we are going to cook a gorgeous bavette steak because the summer is here and you can either get this on the barbecue or you can get it in a ripping hot pan. Now, what is a bavette steak? It is also known as a flank steak. It comes from the belly of the cow. Very nice, intermuscular. So you've got to know how to cook it right. You've got to cook it on a high heat to make sure it's on more of the rare side. Otherwise, if you serve it well done, it's going to be chewier than a pair of old boots. So trust me on that one. And what do you serve with a beautiful steak like this? Well, it's going to have to be a chimichurri, a beautiful sauce from Argentina. Got a lot of acidity, herbaceous with a fresh parsley and a bit of kick of chili. Perfect for this cut of meat. I mean, just take a look at this bavette. I mean, have a look at this. Woo. Very nice. So we're going to marinate this first a little bit just to help tenderize it a touch. And then we're going to get into it. Right, let's go.
So first, let's trim up any fat from this bavette steak. This is an 800-gram piece. Now, what you're going to do is just pull back the fat like this on this side and just make small little passes with your knife. Do not take off any meat. Save all these scraps as well, by the way. I'll show you something about that later. Flip over and trim the other side. Run your knife through that silver skin and pull it back. We're just going to trim off little bits like this. Work in stages. So do half of your bavette steak first. Flip it round and do the other half. This makes it a lot more easier and manageable. You can leave a bit of fat on, that's okay. We just want to get those little bits there, those kind of silver skin sinewy parts. Take those scraps, put them in a freezer bag and save them for tallow for another day. Now we've got our beautifully trimmed bavette. Now you can see there's a line running right through there in the middle. That's a nice little part just to cut that in half. So we've got two manageable portions. Absolutely gorgeous. And you're going to slice across the grain. More on that later. Now we're going to set these aside in our fridge. Deep clean our board, give it a good scrub and spray, and we're going to make our marinade for our steak. This helps tenderize it. This is the first stage. I've just picked some thyme, oregano, and rosemary from the garden, so pick what you have available to hand. Now, when you pick all these, you want to make sure you get all the leaves off. So don't be a toe rag and leave a bunch of leaves all over the stalks. I want to see them like this. All right. Okay. Now moving on. Now tip this out and give these a nice run through with the knife. Chop it up as fine as you can. This really helps. Pick this up, put this into a container. We're going to make more than we need. Then we're going to add a good glug of olive oil, maybe about a tablespoon there. Squeeze in about half a lemon. This is going to help tenderize things. Grind in some freshly cracked black pepper to taste. And then we're going to put in about 3 cloves of garlic. Just use a presser like this or you can mince them. Get them all in, get the back of your knife and scrape that all off. Mix this all around, and this is our basic marinade. Make more than you need because you can put this on chicken, fish, even veg. Now I'm only going to put in about 2 teaspoons. That's enough for this amount of meat. Rub it all in, work it all in between those grooves of muscles and everything else. Cover it and then put this in the fridge for at least 3 or 4 hours. You can go longer. Now for the chimichurri, half a cup of extra virgin olive oil, and then we're going to have 4 cloves of garlic, which we are going to chop up nice and fine. So slice it first, turn it round, and then run your knife through it and get it as fine as you can. Use the top of your knife and scrape it off as you go. You can do this all in the machine, but chimichurri by hand is way better. Okay, now get this into your pot. Well, try to get it into your pot if you can. Then ideally you want 1 to 2 fresh red chilies chopped up, or you can use chili seeds, about a teaspoon or to taste. Get that in there, and then a nice pinch of salt. I'd say that's about a good teaspoon. Cracked black pepper as per usual, and then we're going to get some fresh oregano. This is about a tablespoon, I would say. If you haven't got this, then just use some dry. Use half a tablespoon of dry because it's more concentrated. Run your knife through it, get it nice and fine like that. Pick that up, get that into your container, and at this stage just give it a little mix, and then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. This really helps balance the flavors out. Now we're going to have some parsley, about 30 grams. This is all picked from my garden. You can use the stalks like that if they break. Bunch it all up together like this. Get your knife, start slowly, work your way through it until you get to the end, and then start chopping it up and get it nice and fine. Chop it up as fine or as best as you can. A sharp knife really helps here, so just keep your knife sharp, okay? Right, now pick this up, put this in your container, and what we're going to do is we're just going to mix this and see if it needs a touch more oil to loosen. I think that needs about just a cheeky little spoon more, not too much. Mix that through, give that a little taste, and adjust any spices or seasonings as per your needs and desires. And look at that beautiful chimichurri. Now that is banging. Okay, set that aside. That'll stay in your fridge for a couple of weeks, no problem. Now I've had these bavettes marinating for 4 hours. You can go overnight too if you want. I'm only going to cook one. So take off one piece after you brush off some of the garlic. It's done its job. You don't need it in there. It will just burn in your pan. So just get a brush and brush it off. Set that aside and season generously with salt and pepper on both sides of this beautiful piece of meat. I cannot wait to cook this. We are going to get this in a ripping hot pan. So make sure your windows are open and your extraction is on full. You have been warned. Get your cast iron until it is smoking hot like this. Then we're going to add a glug of oil, swirl it around the pan. And you know it's hot enough. When your meat hits the pan, it's going to make this noise. Lovely, that's the sound you want. Then press that down with a spatula. You can just see how hot that pan is. Then after 30 seconds, you're going to flip it over. Do the same thing. We're going to push it down and then we're going to move it around the pan. And we're going to flip this every 20-30 seconds and develop a crust. We're not going to cook this for that long. So keep moving it around your pan, pressing it down as you go, because this meat isn't flat. You need to press all those little nooks and crannies and try and get a nice color, aka Maillard reaction. Keep going, work it around your pan like this. Give it a couple more flips and do the side as well. After about 6 minutes, I'm going to actually turn the pan heat off once I've got it to where I want it, which is coming up about now, I'd say. I'm happy with that. Put in some butter, not too much. That's going to cool the pan down, and then just keep moving your steak around for about a minute in this butter. It's basically basting itself. That's going to be nice and rare. You're doing the sides, and we're also going to do that side piece as well. I mean, just look at the char on that. Absolutely gorgeous, lovely and rare. Right, that's done for me. 7 minutes in total. Put it on a rack like this, on a tray. Pour over the excess butter. See, there's not too much, so not too bad. And then cover it with some foil. Rest it for about 7 to 10 minutes. Please temp this at the 5-6 minute mark, and it should be about 125, 126. Yep, pretty good. I'll let that rest for another 3 or 4 minutes. Then I'll take off the foil and I'm going to put this flat side down, or the flattest side possible, onto my board. That helps with the cutting. Now you can see the way the grain is running. It's not perfectly straight, so just cut across an angle on there. And you're going to get nice slices. You don't want to cut it too thick or too thin. So what's that? Maybe just under 1/4 of an inch, maybe a little bit thinner. And work your way through. A sharp knife really helps you here. Hold the meat. It's just cutting through like butter. And you can just see that is gorgeously cooked. Absolutely gorgeous. Perfectly cooked, rare, blushing, and a little chef's treat at the end there for you. Okay, now just take a look at that. I mean, come on, it does not get any better than that. That has been resting for ages and it's still super, super moist and juicy. It's got a lovely pull to it and it's cooked a beautiful rare indeed. Get this onto a nice warmed plate. You can just see how much juice is still coming out this lovely steak. Just arrange it, make it look a bit nice. Add a nice bit of flaky molten salt. That just helps in the eating. Put a nice spoon of the chimichurri to the side so you can just see that oil leach out. And you have a gorgeous bavette steak with chimichurri. Come get some, my son. Enjoy this beautiful summer piece of meat.
So there you have beautiful bavette steak. That's how rare you want it. Don't overcook it, it will be super chewy. I mean, just take a look at that. Ooh. You can just see how nice. And that's an end piece right there as well. Right, let's have a little taste. Don't be shy with this chimichurri. It is very nice. It's the sort of dish you get in a really nice bistro with a nice glass of red when you're on holiday. That is sensational. Absolutely sensational. Beef is nice, tender with a nice sort of chew, so you get that lovely flavor. And then with this chimichurri, you get spice, you get herbs, you get acidity, you get a lovely little extra virgin olive oil flavor. The good thing with this steak, you can feed masses with it. So easily that big piece that I showed you before, easy enough for about 4 or 5 with a few little accompaniments as well. You can smash this out on the barbecue, on a griddle, but you know what? Just in a pan like that, doesn't take long. As long as you rest it, you'll have a very nice bavette steak indeed. Give this one a go, my friends. Your summer barbecue and friends are going to thank you. So if you like content like this and you like recipes like this, then please consider subscribing. It goes a long way to blow up my channel. On our banner, I have put we're on the road to 10,000 subs. So please subscribe so we can make that happen. Okay, and enjoy the rest of this. Catch you all on the next one. So good.